All right. Welcome to another Sunday morning. And today I'm talking about Craig Lowndes. I'll show you my tier list. Bring that up. Bring that to there. Yep. That'd be nice. And then who's the best? This is my tier list of who I think is the best. And I sort of updated it last time. I made it a bit more. Let's make it clearer who deserves it and stuff like that. And I'm going through Craig Lowndes now, and I'm thinking I don't think Craig Lowndes deserves to be top tier because from 2007 onwards, he was getting his ass handed to him, constantly out qualified, constantly out raced. So I just don't think it makes sense to have somebody who had a 20-year career and spent 10 of it being beaten. So I'm going to put Lowndes second here. And we'll put him there. Because you just can't have it like that. Having McLaughlin and Ambrose up the top there is a bit controversial. Well, it's a bit contentious, not controversial, contentious, because they didn't spend that much time in the category. Like McLaughlin was there for eight seasons, Ambrose was there for 5 seasons, and so you can't really assess their career equally to anybody else in the first tier because everybody else did like 15-year careers at least. Tander from 98 to 2018, Scaife from 89 to 2008, Van Gisbergen from 2007 to 2023, and Whincup from 03 to 21. Like those are long periods of time in which there are going to be times where someone younger and hungrier is going to be fighting against you to be the best. So, like McLaughlin and Ambrose, they came, they conquered, they left. And like, yeah, you put them first tier, but they are not equal measure to Tander, Scaife, Van Gisbergen, and Whincup. So yeah. Having Lowndes on the same level as Rick Kelly is probably a bit more contentious, and I'm not exactly following the rules that I've set there because I haven't got around to going through all of that. Because you got, well, and some of these exceptions that I've written, I haven't actually finished going through them properly, and that's what I'm doing today. So I don't know, did that blank out? I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to show how good was Lowndes, and then show you what we're working with. So we'll see 2006. So the purple means championship leader. I changed it from orange because now the orange means beat them in the race. So, obviously 2006 Lowndes was better than Whincup. Then it gets a bit even, but I've put the numbers down here. So 13 to 20 out of 25 times that Craig Lowndes outraced Jamie Whincup, which is one race better than Whincup. But obviously, 7 Whincup won more races. I believe. 2, 3. That's 3 races. Having a second winningest driver of all time, tier 2 just looks wrong regardless of criteria. Yeah, it does. It does look wrong. But you could have someone who was like the best guy in the 90s and went and was really good for 2 years at AAA, and then for the rest of the time was racking up those wins while his teammate was smashing him for the next decade. That looks wrong too. Yeah. So, but maybe tier 2 shouldn't be considered so poorly. Maybe we should be thinking of tier 2 as being like, these are guys who had times when they were the best, like Lowndes was the best for a time. And maybe a guy like Rick Kelly doesn't belong in tier 2. Um, but yeah, like I said, I gotta sort through it properly. But it's like Lowndes was constantly smashed. Well, nobody else had the GOAT as a teammate. Yeah, exactly. I mean, well, Scaife was like the best guy until Tando was his teammate. Some people just have donkeys. Yeah. Some people just don't have the high caliber teammates they need to prove that they're actually really good drivers. Like Mark Winterbottom looked really good against Stephen Richards, and then Will Davison came along and made him look pretty ordinary. Made it look like either both of them were really good, or Frosty wasn't as good. But we've seen a lot of good out of Will Davison, so he deserves to be up there, I think, because Will Davison's been good against other people. But yeah, just it's looking miserable for Lowndes, apart from I think it's 2015, where it looks a little bit better. He just 18 out of 36 times he outraced Whincup, that's exactly even. And of those times, of course, Whincup won more races. He got like 7 versus Lowndes' 5, I think. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Yeah. So that's sort of, it's a bit of a contentious one to be like, I just find it so hard to put Lowndes as being the best guy ever. And maybe he was in exceptional circumstances, but it's not like he came second in the championship every year. He was getting beaten by other people half the time. Like 2014, he's 4th. SVG beat him. Frosty beat him. 2013, he was 2nd. 12, 11, he was 2nd. 2010, beaten by what? Courtney, Frosty. Yeah, and then obviously Jamie Whincup. 2009, beaten by Tander and Davison. But sometimes there were mechanical issues, and obviously when you break a year down into race by race, what happens, you find that there were lots of little things that contributed to their season, and maybe it wasn't as bad as, maybe they weren't that bad, and maybe just the car kept breaking down, people kept crashing into them, bad pit stops, stuff like that, bad strategies. Yeah, just plenty of seasons. I think 2007 was a lot closer, because 2007 was one of Lowndes' most consistent years. He got like 30 top 10s. I think Whincup only got like 28 top 10s. But there might have been exceptional circumstances. Like there's always a thing that happened that caused a result for someone else, or caused them to have a bad day and made them have a worse year than it otherwise might have been. They put 2010 Tasmania up, and with no commentary. And the first race was the one that Greg Murphy got his podium in 2010. He qualified 4th. He stayed 4th the entire race. And then Frosty locked up, and then that's what got Murph the podium. Murph had a lock up of his own. He didn't really have any pace he had pace for 4th basically, and he inherited 3rd. He just got lucky. Um, so that's how a result can look better than it actually is. What's the thing that Dale Earnhardt says is, or used to say, was, "Who wasn't there?" Because you have to beat everyone, and if you be like, let's say you won a race in 1999 at Tasmania, they'll be like, "Well, who wasn't there?" Craig Lowndes wasn't there. Can't if you're not beating Craig Lowndes in '99, then you're not the best. But but pretty much from '96 to 2006, Craig Lowndes was the bee's knees. He was really good. I'm watching 2003 at the moment, writing down things that happened to all the drivers, but mainly focusing on Greg Murphy. And Lowndes has an engine failure pretty much straight away. And then the next race, he's just carving his way through the field. And it's almost like 99 over again. He's just mowing people down. And they're not even really showing him very much. They're showing him for a little bit because the race up the front's exciting because he got Bright and Ambrose and Scaife battling away. And he's just silently in the background mowing people down. I haven't finished watching that race. But this is in the FPR days where sometimes the car was a dog box, and other times it was a good time. And same deal with Double O and Gibson. Probably Gibson wasn't quite as bad. Double O was worse. There's a lot more crap going on, really. Didn't have a car to win races, but he had a car to. He had pole at Canberra. That's pretty good. He didn't have pole in 01. But he won a couple of races. All right. What else? Oh, yeah. I like when I'm doing my stats and I'm marking who was ahead in the races. Rodney Forbes got a couple because I guess because I count a crash as being the driver's mistake. Although sometimes it might not be their mistake, because they put DNF and crash and steering failure in the same department. Although sometimes a steering failure could be, it's hard to place fault all the time, but usually a crash is they crash by themselves, or they locked up and speared into someone. But obviously it can be very nuanced. Yeah, that's what I got. Oh, and I did have because he got up in 2015, and it was pretty close in 2015. I just wanted to see how close it got in 2017 and 18. And he only outqualified everyone else for the first race at QR, and he didn't beat SVG or Whincup for the entire season. 2018, he had pretty much the same year as 2016, where pretty much if he was on the podium, there was a good chance that he was beating his teammates, unless it was a 1, 2, 3. And he had to beat both of them for it to count as being he was the top dog in the team that day. Yeah. And yeah, only 2 times he's outqualified his teammates in 2018. 2016, he's done it a bit more. I think he was probably a bit better in 2016, especially up against Whincup, who was still probably at the top of his game, and SVG wasn't yet at the top of his game. It's all like 2022 Pukekohe. I think they put that one out last weekend. And SVG slams the brakes. Will Davison goes like wide at the hairpin. He's just like, what was that? And it just reminded me of the sort of shit that SVG used to pull. 2017's season is why he retired. Yeah, well, fair enough. Stunk so bad that year. Yeah, he was, his qualifying was slipping. Triple H said, "Yeah, you're done." Well, I think he had a sit down with Roland Dane at the end of 2017 and said, "What do you wanna do?" And Lowndes said, "I'll go again." Um, so he had a 2-year deal, 18 and 19, and during 18, he wasn't getting the results that he should have been getting. Um, barely cracking the top 10 half the time, barely qualifying in the top 10. And it was like, yeah, if this keeps going like this, and so that they get up to Townsville where he's usually good because he's in a Triple Eight car. And then this is a good time to announce retirement. The rest of the season wasn't as bad as the first half, but he wasn't going to win the championship, and it probably wasn't going to get a whole lot better from there. So it was a good time to announce it. 2017 was just, I wish I had his qualifying average, because all I've got is he wasn't out qualifying his teammates very often, which is probably a good place to start. If you're not beating your teammates, what are you doing? Like, he was better in 2016. Did he even get a podium in 2017? No, he didn't. He got the 1, 2, 3 at Tassie in the 2017 Tassie. That's what he got. He got a few fourth places. He got one there at Pukekohe, and one in the second race at Tassie, and that's about it. Unacceptable. Yeah. So, and that's probably part of why he was thinking of retiring. Tassie race was like 2 laps. Yeah, it was 2 laps. It was, yeah, well, because it was 2 laps. It was the second lap was when they had the big pile up. Scotty Mac was a donkey and went to pit lane. Did he? Huh. 'Cause I remember it being very interesting because there was, I think, all 4 PRA cars. Holefield stopped on the main straight. He went to pit lane. That must have been after the second lap. So the second lap, 12 cars all crashed into one another. All the PRA cars were safe. Both Erebus cars were safe. All 3 Triple Eight cars were safe. Yeah, they all had. Well, yeah, they must have red flagged it straight away. So, and stopped everyone on the straight. He went to the pit lane. he probably, yeah, I guess he just didn't realize he was supposed to go to the main straight. Why wouldn't you go to pit lane though? Like, unless they thought there was damage or something, or they needed. Yes, it's a weird one. I wouldn't blame him for that unless it was like clear, told on the radio to go out. Okay. Yeah, so he was told to stay out stay at park on the main straight, and he went straight to the pits. Radio. Yeah. Yeah, but obviously Lowndes was past at this point. Everyone in front of him stayed out. Yeah, well, why didn't follow? Especially with a red flag, like, you're probably better off going on with the 5 cars in front of you, but yeah, it's a weird one. Did he get a penalty at all for it? Do you remember? Non-result, yeah, but he didn't get like a fine or something. Like, I know obviously no points were delivered for the race because it was only 2 laps, but he didn't get like a fine or Going a pit lane is your choice. Okay, yeah, so they probably red flagged, and the normal procedure would be to stay with the field. You just go to the back of the grid. Yeah, well, there you go. So, yeah, that makes sense. It's sort of like a kind of play on where it's like the field stops when they restarted the race. He was at the back. I thought they didn't restart the race because they didn't deliver points for it, or is that just because the race didn't have enough cars, or 5 or 6 safety car laps? Oh, conditions might have been still too bad, or yeah. Huh. Wonder if it's up on YouTube or something. Then time ran out. Oh yeah, freaking time certain. 2017 Tasmania Supercars. Sure, it was getting dark, yeah. Yeah, it's not really going to show much of that. It's going to show the crash. There's a 1 minute 46 version, and then a 2 minute version. Why do they post the exact same video 2 years later? Like these maniacs running the Supercars YouTube channel. That's a Super 2 one. It was funny. They just had the exact same thing happen in Super 2. That's all there is. I was sort of hoping, what's it called? Motorsport Direct might have put it up, but not there at all, I don't think. The Supercars for Shane. I used to watch him years ago. Channel got taken down, didn't it? Did it? Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know. Can I see? Maybe it's my subscriptions or something. Yeah, it's not there. He must have got taken down. Right. I was gonna actually before I start watching YouTube, I wanna look at Greg Murphy because I was looking at Greg Murphy stuff. I'll find it. Put that there, and then I'll show it. All right. I'm working on, and there is so much data that I had to make a copy of the exact same thing. What was this? This is race results. This one. One of them has got, yeah. This has got like incidents, things that happened. Just trying to understand what happened to his position. Don't have anything for the first drop and a fourth. He got spun, right? No, but apparently that happened in the second race. Sent the race on Discord. Oh, okay, cool. What was I doing? It probably went black for a second for you. There were some races that Murph had that so it was just like a doofus moment. He span at pit entry, and they were saying there's lots of dirt and stuff at pit entry at Perth. But I was like, but everybody's done that, so how's he managed to do that when everybody else hasn't done it? I think he was one of the earliest into the pits though. And I don't think the QR race is on YouTube. So, what else was there? Oh, Tassie, he span out. And And this was a weird one. Drive-through penalty for being in the operating lane for too long. There was one that was first race of 2003, Murph. He had a jump start, got a drive-through penalty, and then I think it's in this. Was it in this one or is it a different one? Yeah, this one. Drive-through penalty, and he took it immediately. And then apparently he sped in the pits, so he got another drive-through penalty. And then Matt White was saying that he had 3 drive-through penalties. I'm like, what was the third one for? You don't just say, yeah, he just got another one because they were just handing him out like candy that day. All right, what? All right. Here we go. I'll stop sharing that. And then we'll watch this 2017 race. Oh, here we go. It is the entire thing, isn't it? Can we skip to the actual race? Hopefully you can still see it. It's 15 minutes. I'm going to skip. Who's that? Oh, that's Russell Engel. In the Lee Holdsworth car. My God. What's his helmet say on it? Surely it says like Singlet or something from the year before racing with Rick Kelly. He's got like a Fox Sports helmet with not a lot on it, so he must have had that prepared for this particular year. So I'm going to turn off that autoplay. All we want to see is the start, though. Oh no. JC probably down the back somewhere. So no rain, but it is wet. So it's just pretty slippery that day. It was interesting, like having Jason Bright up there and Dale Wood up there and Todd Kelly's up there too. G Reynolds, Wink Up Lowndes. Yeah, really good and really good for Jason Bright, but they were probably used to seeing him up there. Todd Kelly and Frosty in the top 10 as well. Well, Frosty's not so much surprise, but Todd Kelly. I think Rick got caught up in it. Oh, he definitely did. He hit Will Davison. All three BJR cars, both Walkinshaw cars, both GRM cars. I think Lee Holdsworth managed to escape it because they just had a big crash at Albert Park. I think the ones that were further down the back didn't have as much issue. Oh, that looks slippery. $50 laps.
The state and beyond here in Tasmania. There are generations of fans that have been coming here since the 1960s. Youngsters, oldies, you name it, we love this game and we cannot wait to go racing. What do you reckon, guys? Hardy Souls up there today. It's been a pretty tough day. It started out t-shirt weather and then progressively got cool. When I last looked about 10, 15 minutes ago, it was only about 14, 15 degrees outside, so it's really plummeted, but there is just a bit of sunshine peeping through at the moment. Tiny little bit of breeze, but not much. It's actually dropped in the last few minutes. McLaughlin in position. And 2 championship races.
McLaughlin was still fresh at being right up the front. Like, he knew he had a really good car and a really good team. Or he just maybe just has one of those faces that he just looks like he doesn't know what he's doing, but he knows what he's doing. That's why he's on pole. What was he? That first corner looks a lot tighter from that angle. And I can't turn the volume up much more than that. It's just as loud as it is. Not so good for McLaughlin, but that was the way it was for him. Flying. Very nice conversion. Look at the spray. Well, they all managed to get through the first lap fine. It was just like a bunch of them checked up through the first turn, and it just messed them all up. They started tripping up over one another. Well, how did it end up being a 888-123 though? Oh. Might have got a penalty or something. Oh, he did. He ran wide. And because McLaughlin pitted, that's why it's 888-123. But without points. $12 car pile up. Holdsworth got lucky. I think Caruso was further back as well. He got lucky. Douglas, Slade, Red Kelly, Will Davison. I think at the time I wasn't watching on KO or anything. I didn't have it because I didn't have much money. But I was watching on the live timing and it just sort of stopped. So you had to wait for the footage to come out. And I was like, holy crap. Like, such a bad incident. He's just hanging his radio cord over the top of his helmet. It's got Rullo and Pie. See, I think JC had a big hit, so.
So for the first time in recent past,
Because they weren't in it. Yeah, so they are. So the lead cars must have been on the back straight, probably heading towards the last couple of corners, and then they suspended the race. Pick up Blanchard. Timmy Slade, JC.
I honestly don't know how it originated, but definitely Tander got bumped from the left, and when he fired into the guardrail, then it just all unfolded from there. So I think the last one in the unscathed pack was Caruso. That's right. So that's
Caruso must have had something happen to be that far back, though. Must have had like run off or something. Crazy, there's like an hour of this. Just broadcasting the cleanup. Probably talking about it. You can see Davo, I think, just down there. So they just smashed into Rick Kelly.
Usually the trouble here is on the opening lap either here at turn 2 or down at the hairpin. So looking across, McLaughlin went absolutely nowhere, but it might be that
McLaughlin was used to going nowhere at that stage because his race starts were no good. And he started paying attention to what Fabian was doing and then started getting better at it. No. They had some in-car camera from maybe not Frosty, but like further back, like Dale Wood or something, or Fabian.
He's leading the race, crosses the control line, feeds it a couple of gears. This is one, a little jump and then two. Gets caught in the puddle, big understeer, runs wide over the river strip. Now he gathers it back. There goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Now he's fifth. David Reynolds, 6th.
Reynolds' car looked good back then. Just can't see anything. You got lucky. I don't remember who got the penalty for it. Let's see if you said anything. Oops. Same helmet the year before. This car looks so shit with like a sponsors and clear from the sun. At the front a lot in 2016 because I lost it going off. Yeah. I think I meant that if that's what you're talking about, he's at the front a lot in 2016. McLaughlin, he would qualify at the front and lose spots on the start.
Scott Pye's in there as well. It's like Tim's involving. Now let's ride with Will Davison. Just quiet here for a second.
Is there a way of 2017? Yeah, new car. Yeah, well, I wonder if his starts just weren't that good in 2016 either. Because obviously he was pretty damn good at qualifying. Didn't always have the car to do the job.
And then it's a question of, I mean, people just can't react. I mean, there's cars flying.
He was so
everywhere.
good.
No grip,
Yeah.
can't see. There's metal every which way. Now we're caught.
I suppose back then, 2017, the teams might have had like different clutches and things like that, so that might have been something. 2016, Phillip Isle start him and Wink up both days. All right. Elite battle to turn one. Right.
So I think you find that young Alex Rulo might have been the guy who got the back of James. But the most amount of damage by far will be with Rick Kelly's car and Will Davison's car. There's an ambulance up there as well, so somebody's not feeling too well. It's suspected maybe Will Davison.
Yeah. So you're getting loaded in.
Shot body language, and you just got out and sat down next to the car. That would have hurt. So that's James Moffat's car number 34. Scott Pye's car number 2. We're looking from the roof of Garth Tander's car number 33. Tim Blanchard, that's a Brad Jones racing car. They've been in the wars, those guys.
A lot of damage in 2017. Look at that. The rear panel pushed off. Bad.
Slade probably had the least amount of damage. He actually trickled through the drama. So he sort of got
I
through.
think Rulo actually wasn't that bad. He was just driving a crap car. He was involved in a few incidents, though. There was one at Phillip Island for Percat. There's this one, which, don't really blame anyone for. Apart from maybe Waters, who seemed to be the villain of the time.
I think that's the last one we'll ever see of that car based on what we've just seen there. So definitely wrong place at the wrong time there. He was out in front of the carnage and just got tapped, and then obviously what happened. But that's part of the business we're in, and we've had a pretty good run recently, but it's obviously come to an end there. So that's a good shame, and hopefully.
What was the point of that? What was the point of kicking the panel there? Did he just want to see if it was loose, I guess? See what has to be pulled off. Every bit that looks like it's got damage has to be pulled off. There's Todd looking at
We'll have to assess all the options. It's probably too early to make a call there, but there's going to be a fair bit of work on. I can guarantee that.
Garth.
In addition to this massive incident, there may potentially be another story here, and it involves the pole sitter, Scott McLaughlin. Now, he is sitting, guys, just outside your commentary box at pit exit. He's come into the lane, and I've just seen Ryan Story and Ben Croak from the team hurriedly go to Frank Adamson about midway through the lane and ask for permission to possibly push that car back in the opposite direction, back down the lane towards the team garage. Now, they're cagey with me at the moment. They won't tell me if there's a problem, and Scotty does not want to talk, but we're keeping an eye on it for you. So, Frank Adamson is the category technical manager, and it would be very interesting as to why you would park the car there and why they'd be asking Frank for special dispensation to bring the car back to the garage. Clearly something going on that we're unaware of. And I didn't realise who Tander originally made contact with, so Cam Waters definitely a big part of that.
Waters got super lucky that his wing didn't get ripped off.
The closing speed for Will, that's what, as you heard Scott Sinclair say, most likely KO car 15, because that'll have structural damage in the cage now. Also, in that car, it's huge damage on the front of Will Davison's car, so that'll have
Back of Tander's car.
damage and chassis rail
Bump room Percat. Can't see crap. Jesus, that's an angle I don't think I've seen before. Oh.
Yeah, I'm good. The cars aren't looking too flash down there, but Will's out. He's all right, so you don't have to panic. He's just hurt the family jewels a little with the impact, but no, it's looking sad to. I think it's looking.
Turns out he broke some ribs. Actually, no, he broke his vertebra in his back, Will Davison.
Yeah, I saw the accident, so I was stopped. And then, a car behind me, I think it was Taz, didn't see that, the accident and just hit me flat out. So the Commodore's now on cruise. And then it fired me into Will because he'd gone off the fence on the other side and come across. But the track was blocked. So I don't know why it happened, but there was plenty going on.
So do you think you might be out for the weekend?
Yeah, there's a lot of damage to the back of it. So, boys at Miracle Workers, they'll hack into it. Star will be able to get his gas axe out and start welding stuff, so he'll be happy. But,
And Courtney's was one of the cars that didn't compete. Will Davison's and Rick Kelly's. I think all the other cars were repaired for the next day.
The origins of this are very hard to unravel, and there'll obviously be a deep and detailed investigation as to what's gone on. And that is monstrously damaged.
Yeah.
Car of the particular order sport. That car will be close to throwaway as well, with that sort of damage at the front and then also down in the right rear corner. That's James Courtney's car. We just heard from James with Rihanna.
Not looking too flash at the front there. Something's pointing in the wrong direction.
I think I called the wrong car with young Alex Ruler. I think it might have been Taz Douglas who actually made contact with the back of James Courtney. That is, yeah. So sorry about that. So that was Taz Douglas who was coming through on the inside, and he tried to thread the needle with Will Davison. They were on the left-hand side trying to get through, and that was huge impact. They were the two cars that one ran into the back of Courtney, and the other one, Will Davison, made contact with Rick Kelly.
All kinds of panel damage. A big hit at the door for Tander.
Calls into focus again, and I mention this every time where I can about the wonderful people that we have that volunteer their time and efforts and their skills to administer these race meetings. So we've got officials out there in the cleanup process, flag marshals, firemen, vehicle recovery. So there's a lot of people that we have to thank for their efforts to try and get this show happening each and every year. And
Do not push, Paul. Not every car's got that, I don't think, on the back of their rear wing.
So some decent damage to car 12 of Fabian Coulthard. We'll just see how that one goes at the moment. He's actually out there with the cars on the grid in relation to the 17. They're a bit reluctant to talk to me.
There's damage on Fabian's car, I think, the door.
Scotty McLaughlin has come back into the lane in error. And if that's the case, I think he will go back out and start this one at the back of the field, guys. They're not going to push it back up the lane now, as I initially talked about. But the suggestion is he may have come in error. I'll try and verify that for you, and that's perhaps why he didn't want to talk to me before. Yeah, well, there was a...
I guess the rules are they restart the race with the order being from the last completed lap. So because he would have been up there in the last completed lap. Probably because he went into the pits, then he has to. That's just a weird rule. A lot of damage. No situational awareness. Darwin almost caused a plane crash. Not McLaughlin. Oh, Rollo. Okay, yeah. Darwin almost caused a plane crash. Yeah, Friday-o then. He was better in 2018, but not good enough. He should have been a bit better than he was in 2018 Super 2. Because it was interesting. He was performing at the level that he needed to be achieving good results in Super 2 to be worthy of a main game season. So fast, it's hard to commentate. 2016. Oh yeah, no. 2016 he wasn't good enough. 2018 he was good. He was almost good enough. He had the money, yeah, for sure. It was interesting. He had some big sponsors on his car too. He had like Castrol and McDonald's or something as well. But then field quality was too high. Yeah, we had a lot of experienced drivers in the field. What is that? That would be is it the Russian broadcast? VSAT Motors Voyage. VSAT Sport. So maybe that is like a Russian broadcast or something. European broadcast, yeah, maybe like Eastern European, maybe. Yeah. Don't know. All their motorsport goes through this like Foxtel for us. Okay, yeah.
Just any idea of what you saw happening? I mean, there was a lot of spray. Obviously, it was very, very wet in there still, but hard to work out how it all came together. For me, I was behind Garth, and then there was a bit of touch up ahead of him, and then next thing, Slady was going sideways, and I went to go right, and then there was a big gap, and then everyone kind of obviously wet track was spinning back across, and I hope that staying on the right-hand side will be all right, but then obviously there's 12 cars coming in.
Yeah, I think all the BJR cars were fine. I think it was just the three most damaged cars that couldn't compete. It was Courtney, Kelly, and Davison that didn't compete in the next race.
Obviously, everyone's just getting sent through the medical centre at the moment. But yeah, hopefully everyone's fine. The crash, to be honest, I don't really know. Like, you can't see that much because of the spray. We saw a bit of debris kick up, so the few of us at the back, like myself, James, and I think Holdsworth, just rolled out of it. I went to the right and was just cruising along. Next thing, Garth's come backwards across the track in front of me. And someone must have just been trucking on behind me because they just hit me pretty hard from behind and shoved me in everything. Looks like James got tagged going through, and Holdsworth was the one there that hung right back and got through it. So it's just unlucky for the guys at the back. There was obviously a massive shot in front of us.
I think Lee actually hit the brakes and he was like, I do not want to be part of this.
Can you get it back for tomorrow? How confident are you? Oh, I'm a driver, so I can't really assess anything too well. But I think that, if anything, maybe the front end might be narrowed up a little bit because we were pushed pretty hard between Garth and the concrete wall. from behind, it didn't look like mine was too bad. The parcel shelf and the boot looks okay, so everything else from below that is detachable, and hopefully the boys can get that put together. James Carver, look at that, the boot and that looks pretty bad. So hopefully, like I said, that parcel shelf and some of the back window there, if that's okay, they should be all right. But who knows till we pull apart.
We replayed the incident with the Econ Commodore earlier today. What is it with you in this place, mate?
I know, James, we're there. I mean, that's a completely separate incident. That was a mechanical failure, and I had a bunch of them that year, and I'm not in that place anymore. And this is just an unfortunate event. It's racing, and that happens. But yeah, it's disappointing. There's a lot of cars torn up out there, and hopefully everyone's all right. But you don't want to see that.
Yeah, most importantly, the cars will be repaired. Good to see you're okay.
Cheers, thank you.
Scott Pine,
Conversation there with Greg Rust. Have a look at
Davo Cam
point of view now with the benefit of telemetry. It's already having a
checking up there behind Simona.
check the visibility out as well. I think that's Simona just count up to 78.
And it just immediate chaos. There you go, permission granted.
The Tyre Power Tasmania Super Sprint. That was the pole sitter. We got a tardy start, dropped back a couple of spots. Chaz Moffat got the best start, made a mistake in turn 2, but was under investigation for.
Yeah, Moff's car's a bit worse than Garth's, I think.
There was contact between several cars in the midfield in a plume.
Hard to say.
And we think that the total tally of damaged cars that are still out there, in some cases, is 12. And I just heard Tim Schengen, our race director, say there's still 5 cars to recover. It's coming up to 12, nearly 13 minutes past the hour of 5 o'clock local time here in Tassie, and it's a time certain finish at 39 past the hour. That's Will Davison's car, the Woodstock car. Incredible damage front and rear on that car. And just to put a little bit more of a point on the summary here, McLaughlin, in a moment of confusion, has come into the pit lane, and there was a clear instruction on the race management channel for all the competitors, in accordance with the rules, by the way, in section D, in a suspended race scenario, to go back under the red flag conditions to the grid. So there's been some sort of an issue there.
So put his helmet in the car.
Come into the lane, and now there's also the question mark of how they're going to handle that. Now, you are permitted to come into the lane, by the way. There's no penalty for that. It's just out of whack. But I think what they're trying to do now is see whether or not they can get onto another tyre, and that will actually be that's another question.
exactly. So they've confirmed that he will start from the lane, but whether he can put a tyre or not, we'll get clarification for you. Will Davison's been taken to hospital.
Supercars are a lot more regulated than Formula V that I was at a few weeks ago. A lot more, like you don't have people coming and checking what you're doing. So you can probably get away with a lot.
Obviously a big mess, so can't really make too much judgment on it all because I don't really know what happened, other than the fact that I think I clipped one of the BJR cars and it pulled the left front out of it, and at that point I had no brakes, and then saw Garth sliding sideways across the track, and I got hit pretty hard, and then there was a Walkinshaw car getting into me. What's the colours? Yeah, sort of felt like we might have been at Parramatta Raceway on a Saturday night for the demo derby.
Parramatta Raceway, the demo derby. That's good.
Spray-wise, that wasn't the worst spray conditions I've ever been in. But yeah, from what I could see, as it looked like a Penske car was maybe squeezing somebody, from where I could see it, and it all was a chain reaction.
Yeah, I think Fabian got a penalty or something.
Won't make any judgment on it until we have a proper look at it, but from our point of view, GRN was 2 touring cars, which is less than ideal, but
tore out cars, and obviously sounds like Will has hurt himself, so that's never ideal. We never want that to happen, so hopefully he's feeling better quickly.
Pleasure, okay, then, mate. Thank you. James Moffat with Greg Murphy. So, under the suspended rules, suspended race.
It's interesting how the air spike things, they drop the jacks down through the car. Some clever stuff. Well, it looks like it anyway. I don't know. There might be sticks. Will that be Sam Potter there talking to Frosty and Jason Bright?
First is effectively the pole, and then they just sit there in the order that they arrive. That's it. That's all there is. However, the slightly weird part of that story is McLaughlin, having gone to the lane, now has to be shuffled to the back of the pack.
As the Ricks continue to flood back in, James Courtney's cars arrive, not looking too sharp and picking. Your one isn't looking too good either, Gartina. Any sort of thinking you should be light on what went down there?
No, I got no idea, mate. I could see something was happening with Coulthard and Rick, I think it was, and Waters was involved in that. So I could see all that sort of over to the left, and I sort of stayed tight on the exit of turn 3 and get the run down the outside, and someone's come out and hit me in the rear, and then I'm sideways, and sideways there is not good because the whole field's coming over here, and then look like they're talking to Slady in the medical centre. It sounds like there's probably 2 or 3 separate things.
Been a few crashes at Tassie that are just big pile-ups. I think 2006 was a big one, especially when it was dry, not wet, just a big dust bowl. Like, instead of mist and spray, it was just dust. Rick. Cam got a bit lucky there. Slady's car wasn't too bad there. Looks like he braked pretty quickly. And watching Will Davos again.
Sunlight, Moff just said too.
That was more turn 6 and 7 than anything else. So, so you probably can't even see there's much going on here.
Especially with the car, it must be on your left-hand side. It looks like he ever cropped, didn't it?
It's like Cars, the movie, watching them going sideways through the thing. That Jimmy Golding in the background there.
I think that's a key point because it won't be possible to necessarily
Beginning of the end of Moffat's career. Yeah, well, he didn't get signed for another year. That's probably. I think it was because Golding was waiting in the wings, and Gary likes giving drivers a chance, and Golding maybe had the money, Moffat maybe didn't have the money, and Gary likes to bring the young bucks through, so that's why he gave him that chance. If you watch the season, he got disqualified at Darwin for some reason. Moff. He was stinking it up, right? If I find crashed 4 times at Bathurst. Yeah, well, he had what was it? One in qualifying, 4 times in one weekend. Yeah, there's a few cars that have been like that over the years. Oh, here we go, McGarthy. 2017. So Moff's got this crash, and then that one wasn't good at Darwin. Oh, excluded at SMP. Crash at Bathurst. crash at Newcastle. Wasn't really that flash at qualifying apart from just somehow nailed it at Darwin there. Don't really know what happened there. Oh, and another top 10 qualifying in Pookie. The rest of the time it's Garth's done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tanda was bullshit. What? Like what? Really good? Or not? He deserved to be in the seat. Yeah, well, he was doing a good job. He ended up 9th in the championship with at GRM. That's a pretty good job. Richie Stanaway. Oh yeah. Money, business. That's what happened. It's at the end of the day, Gary Rogers Motorsport is a business, and having why it happened. You just don't agree with it. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's keeping one person versus keeping 10 people. That's what it's all. That's what it's about. So they took the money and took the guy that the money came with. That's the way motorsport works. Plenty of instances of stuff like that where a driver who's still good misses out because they didn't have a sponsor on the car. Could have been in the sport until his last win with SVG. In 22. Yeah. Probably still would have been pretty good. He wasn't being beaten, that's for sure. But he has 3 more Bathurst wins because of it. Yeah, well, same deal with Stephen Richards. Stephen Richards became a much more successful driver after he became a co-driver. Won 3 more Bathursts. But Garth was top tier co-driver. He was done as a main driver though. Stephen Richards, yeah, he was definitely done by that point. He wasn't impressing anyone anymore. And he was saying, we were really struggling until we got that new chassis. I'm like, you were still getting about the same results even with the chassis you didn't like. So, wasn't even that good as a co-driver. Yeah, well, he may put it in the... What did he do? He almost crashed the thing in 2018. I think on pace compared to the other ones. Yeah, not in terms of safety. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, he just wasn't as fast as the other guys. Like not as fast as Dumbrell. Yeah, well, that's fair. SVG had some pretty good co-drivers back then. And it was interesting because, you put someone who's probably the safest one, but he just wasn't top tier. Okay. SVG was getting screwed over for years with co-drivers. I thought he had good co-drivers. He had Matt Campbell. He had El Bamba. Who he had in 2016, Alex Premer before he got pinched by Penske. And then he got Tanda. Those are good ones. I thought they were good. They got podiums and stuff like that. I don't remember them making big mistakes I think I think in the wet Matt Campbell at Bathurst made like a lockup or something. Because SVG is a freak. All right. Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to be giving me examples of mistakes that were made for me to think that they weren't good. Only good one other than Tanda was premature. Was that you or was that autocorrect? No, Prema had his moments in when he was a full-time driver, especially 2013 GRM. Autocorrect, yeah. Yeah, Prema was good. They got that win at the Gold Coast, didn't they? And they don't know why it's not sending when I say his name. Because they don't think that Prema is a real person, I guess. They don't think it's a word. Yeah. Wonder if there's like something you can change in the settings so that it doesn't have autocorrect. He was very good. Yeah. I mean, he was very good with Scott McLaughlin, especially 2017. First or second every race, radio. Yeah. Well, sometimes he could do that even with a bad co-driver, as in like a not very fast co-driver. You got like a safe pair of hands that you give you the car back, and then you go a second faster with the main driver. 2015 Prema was horrible. Okay. And funny that McLaughlin wanted him back then. So he fucked the car up at the Gold Coast. Okay. And that was his mistake. He stuffed it up. Both days, damn. So he wasn't caught up in someone else's mess. He made those mistakes and crashed the car. And Triple A signed him. Everyone was like, what? Yeah. It's like, it's got to be someone better. That's like some teams, they seem to rate ex full-timers so highly for some reason. Yeah. Or like an international splitter. Don't know what you're saying there. Am I still showing? Oh, yeah, it's there. Cool. Filtering your messages, don't know why. Yeah, that's annoying. I don't have like moderation activity turned on or anything. Community moderation. Hit the bundles a lot, kill the splitter. Okay. I think I've done this before and it doesn't have. No moderation. But he cooked in 2016, yeah. Okay. What was I gonna? There was something I found. Scott got into a good team, wanted Frenchie back ASAP. Yeah, and Penske had the money, so they signed him. This was interesting looking at 2013 Enduros. Okay. SVG got absolutely shafted. Oh, with Jono Webb. Hang on, no. Who did he have? Did he have? Yeah, Jerome Bleeker-Mullen. Yeah. So, what the hell is that? What, was he no good? Because there were some international drivers that wanted to race supercars that were getting signed for the Enduros. Horrible. Okay. um, yeah, this was interesting. Oh, just any time he was in that car was like it was in reverse. Oh, really? God damn. Maybe that's part of why they wanted to go back to one car instead of two cars for 2014, is to put Webby in the car with SVG. But Webby wasn't all that good either. He wasn't. He wasn't. He's probably better than Jerome Blackamolen, but Webb was shit. To be fair, yeah, he's probably better than Jerome Blackamolen if they went slower. All I know is that he was shit as a main driver. He wasn't a. Yeah. But that's what I like doing my tier lists by having actual definitions. As a co-driver, he was elite. Yeah, I don't think that's true. 2017 with Will Davison, Webby was getting in biffo and damaging the car and giving it back to Will Davison, like, here you go, keep it in 12th. And it's like, all right, great. Now you've damaged the car, and we're going to drive with a damaged car. So I think winning Bathurst maybe went to Webby's head. With SVG, no. Oh, yeah. Well, that's it. So 2014, yeah, they could have got the win. Not sure about 2015. 4 years out of the seat by then. True. And I don't think Webby would have done much other driving either. He might have done a Porsche race or something, but didn't really do anything else. But in 2007 here, if you're not an elite driver, okay, you fall off a cliff. Okay. Yeah, well, I think even does Garth Panda do any other driving? I don't think he does. I think he might do an occasional like GT race or something. I think Lee Holdsworth is falling off because he's not doing as much races. Rumours Webb with SVG for 888. Oh, Jesus. No, you don't want that. What year was that for? Because there was a few. I remember reading an article years ago about who's the next SVG co-driver, because they like to pick international co-drivers, like people who are racing overseas. Tanda was doing GT racing, but a few years ago he stopped. Yeah, 2017, 18. Yeah, when they got randoms. Okay. But yeah, 2007 here, I've got Greg Murphy teammates with Jason Richards, and JR was out qualifying Greg Murphy pretty regularly. Matt Campbell was a random. I thought he was like a Porsche factory driver. Was he at the time? Because in 2016 he was with Todd Kelly. El Bamba 1000% random. Yeah, I thought El Bamba was also a Porsche factory driver as well. They were getting like international drivers or random to supercars. Yeah, we'd never heard of them, but Triple Eight liked to pick randoms, like who was the guy? Was it James Thompson? They picked him from British touring cars to come and drive the Enduros in like 2010 or something, or 20 whatever year it was, 2008 or something. Put Max for Enduros, and Max is getting fried. Yeah. But Max isn't a random. He's world champion. But and Max might not be too bad either. It'd be cool if they if Max came and did the enduros. Oh, it's a supercars, not in general. I don't know. But Murph was actually beating JR in the races pretty regularly. I don't know if it was too many mistakes or just Murph was doing a better job in 2007. And I think I've got 8. So I have to go back the other way. There's not obviously up against Bugs. And Engel smashing him. And then I've got all the colours of the rainbow for 2011. Wasn't too bad. I think he was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Todd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for Murph. And obviously Rick Kelly was beating everyone. Reynolds got a couple, but it's definitely a lot more. Like Murph was like second best in the team in 2011. Just not quite in qualifying trim. And so I'm doing this to make sure, like, if I was going to be doing my little list here, where people belong, developing the car still. In what at the Kellys? I mean, Todd seemed to be making a lot of sacrifices, so that's why he wasn't up there. But Dave Reynolds is only his second year. You expect Murph to be beating Reynolds. But Reynolds was out qualifying Murph pretty regularly. Oh, I did put 6 out of 28 times Murph outraced. Okay, Todd 7 out of 23, 15 out of 24. 16 out of 32, it's split even. Oh, you mean as in like he was still getting results? I just mean teammate comparison, because that's how you know whether they're any good, is if they're beating their teammate. Because like even in the worst car on the grid with 2 cars, you can still work out who's the better driver. And that's how I do my tier list. I don't base it on how many championships you win. You know, because obviously today I've put Craig Lowndes in second tier. But and that's why I got Garth Tander in top tier. Kelly's had some stinkers as drivers for the first 3 years of that team. Oh, yeah, for sure. They had Tony Riccardello, Jason Bargwanna, Jack Perkins. Like, basically, it was the Rick Kelly show until they got Caruso and Moffat. Oh, and Murph and Reynolds in 2011. Dale Wood. Yep, Dale Wood wasn't too good either. And they had Mike McNally that also shared that entry with Wood. I think Wood just did the first half of the year and then McNally did the rest of the year. That was supposed to be for their developing entry. They would just have young guys coming through, but I think it was like young guys with money. That's probably what they had in 2009. Because I think that Reynolds was just in the Holden pipeline, and that's how he sort of ended up. I don't know. There must have been some money with Reynolds. I know Wood brought his own money because he had his family business and brought a lot of sponsorship. But when he was a full-time driver in the main game as well, with Advan, Polyfloor, and GB Galvanizing. But like especially like Riccardello, but also like there was like Andrew Thompson for some reason was just no good at Walkinshaw in 2010, and then he goes and wins the championship with Triple Eight. That was his second stint. Yeah. So obviously 2009 was he did a stint there. Don't know about the first stint. Yeah, with Dale Wood, because he only did 2009, and then he was a co-driver for several years. In 2000, it was Claire Thompson wasn't great. Yeah, like he won the championship in a Triple Eight car, but you expect that in a Triple Eight car. And then he just wasn't getting signed. He was with Tim Slade for a couple of years, and that's about it. So maybe he just wasn't that good. Brother, you're not getting a Triple Eight car in the main game. Yeah, well, obviously. You're not yeah. You gotta jump in a normal car, race up against normal people. And if you're not if you're not getting the job done, you're not doing a good enough job, not competitive enough against your teammate, then it's see you later, mate. Thanks for coming. We're going to put someone else in. But Andrew Thompson was also, like, you watched 2007, he was teammates with Grant Denyer, and he kept on having, like, mistakes and issues, and just like, what's going on? Love the story that Triple Eight signed SVG in 2014. Because they confirmed him in at Albert Park 2015. And then he started in 2016. He raced 2 years knowing he was going there. Oh, really? Okay. I thought he was signed in 2015. That's interesting, yeah. I mean, it's a similar deal with James Courtney. Signed to go to Charlie Schwerkolt this year for Team 18. And announced to like when he announced his retirement, well, at first it was an accident, and then it was like, yeah, I'm definitely retiring at the end of the year, but I don't know if am I gonna go cold turkey? Am I gonna go do something else? What am I gonna do? Who am I gonna drive for? But the entire time, Adrian Burgess is like, I've got your contract in my desk here. Like, I know you're gonna drive for this team. That was funny. Adrian Burgess was good on Apex Hunters. Just good to hear what he had to say. He's a good operator as well. Obviously things weren't great with Gen 3, but I think there's a lot of politics in Gen 3. A lot of politics in supercars in general, unfortunately. But how would I do this? Hang on. So he out-qualified Engel half the time, but then he got beaten in the races 17 times? Like most of the time by Russell Engel. But I'd call that pretty even, because you got one guy who can qualify and the other guy who can race. Go like 2009, he's out racing him and out qualifying him. That's a wash. And it's even with the races, and then getting smashed even in the racing, getting smashed in qualifying. That's not good enough. But this one was interesting. 2007. He's out racing JR. So something happened at Adelaide there. And that's why I like watching back the old races to see, like, was there an incident? Was JR just unlucky? Like, going back and watching 2003 Adelaide to see what happened to Murph in some of the races. Like, what happened to Winton there? Winton 2003. When he goes to Perth in the VX, puts it on pole and wins. And then not quite a very good time in that second race. So I think I'll keep going. I'll watch. I'll get rid of this stuff. And we'll watch. I've got a little list now to make life easier to find old races. And we'll do that for the rest of the next until 11 o'clock, and then I'll call it a day. Look, I've got so many races there. But Murph, when he didn't start on pole. He just jumped the start and got screwed over. But apparently all the stuff I'm putting is here, so I need to put it here then. SMP, don't know what happened there. He might have just had a bad start. But it's a long race too. I don't know if I want to watch the whole race. Watch Winton though. Something's going to happen at Winton. So we'll watch that. And it's interesting.
Once again for Supercar Sunday. We're 190 kilometres north of Melbourne, Winton Motor Raceway. There's 17.
We've got this Matt White in 2003. What was I watching? Maybe Matt White wasn't commentating every single race. 2005 is the one I'm thinking of. 2005 didn't have Matty White. It had like Crompo and who was it? Wasn't Lee Diffie. It was like Bill Woods or something, who was like the commentator for 2005. So that was an interesting combo.
Concern for the drivers because the UV rays really do affect the grip of this circuit. We'll talk more about that a little later on. The state of play, what's happening?
Ambrose on pole.
Marcus Ambrose has done it again, and no wonder he's laughing.
Love and life. Shaking hands with TC.
Pole position of his career as far as the playground we're at. Winton, 12 turns.
PlayStation 2 graphics, you love to see it. Right, record. Jason Bright in the HRT car. Scafey.
225 km/h approach to turn 1.
I forgot what track I was watching, and I'm like, what was that quartering? I'm like, oh, it's Winton. Okay, never mind.
85 k's on the approach, back to third gear. The end of the old straight, down the hill.
You love the sound.
185k approach, 150k's here, but the speed continues to bleed down to 135k's. Jump the strip on the right, 2 wheels, second gear. Turn 7, very slow. Turn 8. About 80k's across the face. Real tight and tough in traffic. Turn 9, 180 degree. Patience with the throttle.
Winton. It's like running a marathon or any clothesline.
190k approach. Back to second. Right opposite the pit building. Make a blue here and all the crew season.
I can sort of see what he's talking about.
Briefly to fifth. Watching the bumps on the approach to 11. Second gear. 85k's across the face of the corner. The short shoot goes nowhere. On turn 12, second, third, fourth, fifth, and 225k's.
It's better these days that they show the pole lap, so you know, like, that's the fastest lap that someone did. Murph, is that on the front row? It was too. What did he do? Let's get a penalty. Oh wait, this is the penalty. This one. this race,
They've done a lot of soul searching. And what they
we're going to get to hear Crompo blowing up. Ah.
Here's a look at one of the new rims, which has a slightly different offset to last year. And these are new captive wheel nuts, which sit inside the rim like that. What they've discovered, courtesy of Eastern Creek's high lateral corner loads and sawtooth curving, is that it needs to be torqued up 30% tighter than last year. That's why they started developing the problem at Eastern Creek. They've spent 200 man hours to ensure they get it right in pit lane here this weekend. But there's some good news, though, in the Ford camp, Darryl.
Yeah, there's been a few big birthdays this weekend, Rusty, with the forward teams, and one of those especially is Glenn Seaton. Now FPR have 2 BA Falcons along in that team. Speaking of AUs, Bernard's updated to the AU, and they've also been given the big present with extra 60 millimetres on that front splitter.
Oh.
Significant distance around this racetrack here at Winton.
Update to the AU.
To match the VXs in future rounds.
All right, thank you, Darryl and Greg.
Huh.
With you,
Interesting.
as the race gets underway, they're gritty
Project
on
Blueprint
their
AU
forward
and
laps. Let's do
VXs
the
weren't
season.
even,
Marcus
supposedly.
Ambrose is in pole position, back-to-back poles in the championship for 2003. In fact, back-to-back poles here at Winton, because that's where he started from last year. Russell Ingall, that's his highest qualifier of the year. Mark Skate, that is his lowest qualifying position of the year. And Stephen
Paul Morris, 7.
to run the new car this weekend, elected not to because of insufficient spare parts, but very happy when he tested it here last week.
It was an interesting top 10 shootout and featured young
Jamie-
Jamie Whitcup,
yeah.
20-year-old, in ninth
In a shootout.
obviously benefiting from the fact that the GRM test here at Winton.
Oh.
Garth and his teammate will start in position.
Out qualified GT.
Down in 14, and very unhappy about that. He was one driver badly affected by the stoppage in the first qualifying session when there was a mistake.
Morris was accidentally fast back in the, or actually decently fast back in the day. I think, yeah, Morris was sort of like, he's actually like he was actually a good driver. Or maybe not, he was always getting in biffo, but he could be quite fast. Yeah. Just sort of throwing it away too regularly, really.
Coming down now to the rear of the field, Stephen Johnson in car 17 will begin from position number
Think about a day you'd ever see Morris faster than Winkup and Lowndes.
weeks since we last
Yeah.
saw him. He's completed Target Tasmania.
Well, you think the guy's teaching all the drivers these days how to be good. Might have been good at one point in his life. But I guess you can talk to like actually famously successful racing drivers instead of Paul Morris about how to deal with being a successful racing driver.
There's a lot to talk about at Winton. It's only a 3-kilometre track. The turns 1 and 2 can really be a disaster. It's a bottleneck. Take you back 12 months. Look at this. They go in there 3 or 4 wide, but at the end of it, only 2 can come out side by side. See the result. This will happen time and time again. When the race drivers get a little too hot at the start, can't control themselves and want to push it in.
Not a good way to start the day for Lowndesy.
His troubles last season, he was looking pretty good with the Holden Racing team.
Oh, no.
The rear left wheel, and that pretty much ended the day for Mark Skate and his chances of collecting a win here at Winton. What lies ahead today? I think a fair bit of drama, but judging by what we've seen in practice, warm-up, qualifying and shootout, Marcus Ambrose has plenty of time on his side as far as speed in that Ford BA. Craig Lowndes wants to break a duck here. I said that he's never qualified better than 6th. He's never finished better than 6th.
Expect to see some unusual strategy perhaps from Lowndes in this race by virtue of how far down the field he is as we go on board there with Stephen Johnson.
Great conditions here at Winton. 300 kilometres. We're
Oh,
going
it's
again.
starting. I'm just going to pause it for a second so I can take some quick notes. Because I'm like, I need to write this down. So, incident, turn 1, punch it off. Let's write that one quick, and then I need to write. Was it Scafey had a bad pit stop? Yeah, I thought Scafey was unbeatable in 2002, but you know, probably that one. Just gonna guess it's probably this one. Car dropped down too early. Wheel not on. All right, and get back to watching Because I think this is the one that Murph got a penalty. He was blowing up. And Lowndes... How did he end up behind Lowndes? Oh. What happened to Bernard there is a weird one. That Todd Kelly there. Simon Wills up there. Simon Wills was interesting because he seemed to be really good at team dynamic, but he wasn't good anywhere else.
Quite surprising to see David Bernard, who started in 30th position, be one of the casualties of turn one. Normally the mid-pack is the gang that gets caught up there because that's where all the activity starts
Yeah.
to happen.
Might have been a check-up and maybe speed off to avoid a crash.
100 laps around this 3-kilometre circuit will take you through the order as they cross the control line.
Link up with who behind him? Paul Will, probably. Ingle's having a better day there at Winton.
Everybody will be starting with the maximum capacity available in a V8 supercar of 120 litres of fuel because of the
Max Wilson doing all right up into 10th. Morris already dropped spots. So there goes that flash in the pan speed he had.
Here between laps 2 and 73. We go on board with Green. This is the
100 laps at Winton. Fuck that, man. Yeah. Marathon around a clothesline. Well, that's what they used to do. 2003 and 2004. They just used to have several races that were just like, it's one race at this track. Oh, wow. That's terrible. Oh, dear.
Down the drain at the start of Craig Lowndes. Started in 14, crossed at the end of lap 1 in 19. Has picked up one more spot. So he's up to 18th now. Big crowd here on hand, and they're seeing some pretty good stuff throughout the warm-up session this morning. The qualifying shootout we had today. We've definitely got a racetrack today, Matthew, which is more normalised in its performance.
Ambrose was Wing Cup before Wing Cup. Yeah. Ambrose was really good. But I think the thing that made Wing Cup was this showing up at Gary Rogers, not quite being up to scratch, making his way up into a competitive team and then becoming the greatest of all time. I know what Supercars landscape looks like if he stayed. Yeah. I think Ambrose would have won more races. I think Ambrose and McLaughlin would have been more successful. Maybe won more championships. I wonder if Ambrose might have gone to... Jesus. I wonder if if Roland Dane tried to sign... If Roland Dane tried to sign Ambrose, but Ambrose didn't want to leave SBR. That might have been an interesting thing to happen. How long do you think Ambrose would have said he knew they were going to be a superpower? Oh, everybody says that. Everyone's got 2020 vision in retrospect. you know, I think John Bow said that, you know, Triple Eight were beating everyone with better engineers. Apparently Ambrose told Courtney SBR was just thinking shit. Yeah, I heard that one. SBR was still pretty good in like 2011 though. I think not having good drivers for a few years made it a bit harder. Like after Courtney left, they weren't quite up there. And so I think 2009 especially, they didn't quite have what they needed. Bloody hell. 2010 though, yeah, SVG started to get good. He meant championship winning, yeah. So, but that's because Walkinshaw were pretty much up there waiting for trying to line up their ducks, really. Not top 10 runners. Yeah. So yeah, we had Walkinshaw lining up their ducks, and then Triple Eight started their domination. And that's pretty much championship winners after that. I think if Ambrose stayed at SBR, like Ambrose didn't win 2005, Engel did. So, but I reckon the 06 cars were actually pretty good. If Courtney was able to qualify well in them and get podiums, I reckon Ambrose probably could have done a better job than that. Ambrose versus Courtney. That'd be an interesting one to look at.
It's not really a wear issue. There's 4 millimeters of tread depth in the tyre. Wear is not necessarily the problem here. The tyres get hot and greasy, and the feeling goes away.
Courtney would have went to HRT if Ambrose stayed. Yeah, and Scafie would have just booted Todd out straight away. Thanks for winning Bathurst, Todd, but nah, we want someone else. Goodbye. It's just... just kicked Todd out in his ass after winning more races than Scafie. What the hell? Is Ambrose about to lapse people? 6 laps in, he's about to lap people. And it's like they done. Has he got Autobahn on his helmet? 6 laps in, doing the tyre stop. Yeah, well they had tyre and fuel stops, separate stops. Who's he? Oh, I might be catching up to. Is the degradation non-existent? Ooh, Bernard's off again. Bloody hell. So the degradation would be too bad at Winton if you got to do a tyre stop 6 laps in. Bloody hell. That's terrible. Bernard wasn't that good though. 2001, his rookie season up against Ambrose. And Bernard was winning race. Or did he win races or just get podiums in Super 2? That's a CPS. Yeah. That's why I don't like compulsory pit stops. It's about 294 laps on a set of tyres. Yeah. Probably not. Probably going to do like 2. I think there might have been they might have to do multiple stops at least. Oh, yeah. So who was Ambrose catching? Was that Jason Richards? He was catching someone. Right. Look at the gap is massive. 22 laps in, gap's massive between cars. There must have been an ad. I've never seen that angle of Winton. They used to do things differently back in the early 2000s. Back in like the Channel 10 era, I suppose. Although I think they wouldn't use a Channel 10 helicopter, would they? Or use it? Just some interesting angles for sure. Wing up down to 12th. I reckon Tander would have raced past him pretty quickly. What? There's a tree. That tree reminds me of the Mick Doohan ad, like about safety, about driving safely on the road. They used to have like a phone booth or something like that. People going off and crashing into big heavy objects and dying.
Stephen Richards trying to maintain his composure inside the cockpit. He consistently comes under attack throughout these races for one reason or another. And today it's Todd Kelly's turn to have a...
Yeah, I think Richo was blowing the tyres off the cars. At Adelaide, he blew the tyres off it too early, getting past Ambrose. Then Ambrose got past him, then Bright got past him. He's pushing too hard too early. I think his tyre life was just not his thing, Richo. With Garth coming up slowly but surely, nice consistent speed, chip away at him.
Shadow another car so close and still pick your ideal braking points, not pile into the back of it. Keep the car accurate, keep the pressure on. Of course, what he wants to do is to pressure Stephen Richards into an error. That's typically unlikely. We saw great mental toughness from Richards in Adelaide. That's a sign of great fitness. He kept the pressure on Mark Skate down there. Solid, rock solid drive down there. It was fast at the state three. Here's Max Wilson we talked about. Climbing up through the pack. Felt that they were making
Max is doing a good job.
Marching forward with this car, and we're looking forward to the race to get some clean air and see where they can get to.
Wait, they pit him early.
His teammate has gambled.
I think it was he's already missing the rear tail light. There's Paul Morris, dropped even spots already. Pull wheel behind him. Yeah.
The Valvoline entry to win Cup, followed by the team dynamic car of Simon Wills, and then Craig Lowndes.
Lowndes coming through. Everybody get out of the way. Lowndes going to hold in the horn, be flashing the lights. Get out of the way. Get out of the way.
They were both very pleased about the fact that they had two cars the same in their camp now, because at least they can data share. Each driver, each engineer can contribute to the others. They can double their learning rate. And but they've had a pretty tough weekend trying to get their cars to work.
That's because they're run by ProDrive, who think they know how to run a V8 supercar team, even though they don't know how to run a V8 supercar team. That's just me echoing what Glenn Seaton said. What Glenn Seaton was saying, pretty much.
Everybody's got their own theory on that, Greg, but ideally they're looking for about 30 pounds there or thereabouts.
What?
And or actually the contrary box here at the moment, there is out on turn 12, and then there's another spur.
Things are flying down left, right, and centre. Here we go. Let's get back to racing. Concentrate on what Craig Lowndes is up to.
I think the temperatures in the cars would go higher when you're behind a lot of cars.
Drives the wheels off the car, but Craig himself is just stroking along. He's right under the back of the team dynamic car. The Simon Wills entry is engineered by
No need to push too hard.
last year, Oscar Pure and Otto. So this is a terrific will change. So Lowndes at the moment, right down the order. 14th, but still really not too far away from attacking position. And as this race unfolds, folks, we hope to be able to also expand on what happens in the middle slightly.
The squealing brakes. Oh no, that'd be my next door neighbour with the squealing brakes. Lowndes might get Wills in a second if Wills does something stupid. He's going all over the place trying to get past Jamie Whincup.
Turn 11, little bumps down there, mate. You can see the little marks on the road might indicate where some people have blocked brakes and the cars are not tracking over those bumps. And here's where you get the signalling on the left. Some people have asked why they're still signalling forwards given that everybody's got a radio. The radios tend to be from time to time unreliable and you can get more information on your board if you need it and you can focus on the thing that you need. Darryl?
Yeah, interesting down here, Neil, the strategies obviously with DJR.
It's like CraigLowndes.com. You used to say a Lowndes Force back in like 2005. Name the fan club.
Quite a few of the teams will be banking on a safety car. We normally see a few here at Winton, but this, remember, is the first time that we've gone flat out 300 kilometres from start to finish. Normally when we come here, it's a couple of races around 100 k's long. Different playing field today, and we just saw Lowndes, but there's been at least another 10.
It's so annoying when they skip the ad breaks and then you're like, what happened? Lots of stops going on there.
The reason why the safety car came out is this. Jamie Whincup is on the right hand side.
Oh my god. Oh. I reckon that might have been on wheels there. I don't know. Oh, big lock up for Whincup. And he's going well wide. That wall is really bad for a lot of people. Bloody hell. Jeez. Get a VZ, but Gary don't. A VY. Money. Gary doesn't have a lot of money to spend on his race team. Even Murph don't have one. Yeah, exactly. They're so pissed off. Can hear him yelling.
Calm things down. They've got a pressure situation, and the aim of the game is obviously to get the car calmly repaired, get it back out, get in front of the leaders, don't go a lap down.
What else we're looking at? I think Bernard went off again. Don't know too many. Gary got more money than them, surely. Well, Gary hadn't sold his car dealerships by that stage, so he wasn't a squillionaire at that point. He just had that a bit of extra money to be doing that. So they don't even have sponsors. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how they did it. Gary was a lot more of a budget team, though. I guess Team Dynamic just put all the money together because this is their first year, got to remember. So they wanted to enter the sport, buy the latest car, put the drivers in, get going. No, you're not going to start with actually, that's probably how I would do it if I was going to do it the budget team way, is to buy some VXs or AUs, run the team like that. But then you got to upgrade it anyway, so you probably might as well get it VYs. And just because they don't have sponsors doesn't mean they don't have cash. You know, maybe Keith Will has his own business or something, and was wealthy. Not Keith Will. Kieran Wills. Had some money, and because obviously they were able to run a team in Super 2. Simon Wills being 2001 Super 2 champion.
Normally it's a little bit of road rage coming after the safety car has been out on the circuit, but incident-free first lap post-safety car. The Shell Helix race update shows you that not much has changed from the front, only the gap. Thanks to the Audi being out on the track, Ambrose leads Murphy.
Larko lap down.
Richards, Todd Kelly in 6th, Gartana 7th, Paul Morris in 8th, Whincup 9th, and Paul Radisic round out the top 10 on our race update. So, still not approaching the halfway mark just yet.
Cut down the order. I'm going to go put the kettle on.
Remember that given the amount of fuel the cars carry and how long they're out on the race circuit today, we're not going to see a fuel stop until we get to something in the order of about 45 laps on into the race. Conkle's been in, Craig Lowndes has been in, they both came in on lap 29.
They got their salvos or something. Red letter appeal, red something appeal. Red Army appeal or something. Cold. Put my beanie on.
By virtue of taking that stop at the car speed that he's got,
Oh, Todd. No. Garth's probably giving the Todd the hurry up, like, come on, put a move on him. Perkins' cars weren't that fast, but yeah, maybe they never had a great driver. They had Russell Engel and Stephen Richards, and that was about it. Todd Kelly won races, but so did Stephen Richards and Russell Engel. Yep, very consistent. Qualifies it up there, races it up there. Very good stuff.
It's pretty sweaty under there, so it's very warm in the car. So graphic earlier suggesting a temperature in the high 20s, but it's possibly even more than that. And very difficult mentally when you just can't entirely do what you want to do with your own car when you've got somebody less than a car left away. You've got to be mindful of what they're doing. If for no other reason than if they take a wild lunge at you, you need to be in a position where you've got enough situational awareness to make an adjustment. And,
has Paul Morris got another car, or is that a John Faulkner car? The black VX Commodore. Greg Redder, 00.
Monday night is tennis coverage. Should be tonight after Sports Tonight. Valentino Rossi has pole position. Did that in the dry. And he will start from position number 1. So make sure you join the boys for round 4 of MotoGP.
Max Wilson up there.
Troy Bayliss 14.
There's down there Canto, or probably Radisic, I imagine. Is it 66 or 65?
HRT and a bunch of teams haven't fitted during that safety car, and as he said, rear tyres were too marginal. We need to fit for rear tyres as late as possible.
Bright on the back of Cito, so Bright must have already pitted, or is he?
Actually been a black flag issued now to Wilson car pulling forward. All weekend this has been a problem, Greg, as you know. Immediately opposite our commentary point on the old pit straight between turns 2 and 3, there's a noise meter. It also coincides with where the cars make a gear change between 3rd and 4th gear and occasionally bounce onto the hard cut rip limit, which makes an enormous bang. And that's what's been spiking the noise meter here. I think the legal limit is 95 dBA. And This little battle incident involves Seaton and Bright. Bright's on fresh tyres. He is 13th. Seaton is 12th on pretty second-hand tyres at the moment. Brighty tries to sneak up and does so going into 3. So Wills now is going to have to come in and deal with it. That's going to be a hard one for them to figure out. What a lot of people have done, and there's a couple of cars. I've got a feeling that Morris's car has still got quite a visible one on it, but there are cars out there with shields over the exhaust to try and shelter, for want of a better word, the noise from the noise meter, and in particular this spiking effect, where someone will drive around all weekend and they're not triggering the meter, and then they'll hit the hard cut at the gear change point between 3rd and 4th, and it'll show a huge reading all of a sudden. Now we've seen a couple of people take fuel. Paul Radisich being carried.
There we go. Ambrose in. I suppose people who pitted early are probably doing multiple stops, whereas don't know if Ambrose has done a stop yet there. Just put the fuel in. No tyres. No tyres, just gas. You need gas, you idiot. You need tyres, you idiot. Brad Jones doing the same thing. Safety car. Morris is off. What is up with some of those grooves here? Yeah, he's not going anywhere. A VY for Paul Morris. He's just speared off. Yeah. He's probably hoping to get out. Looks like it might have slowed him up enough. He could just scrape the fence and get out. What's Wingcup doing? He's got his indicator on. Message to the team or something. Might not have radio. Tyres for Rick Kelly.
We look at the pit smart positions. Is that Jason Bright, who's currently 12th on the road, we believe to be the actual leader of the race, with Maxie Wilson actually second in the corrected order. Now, let me just briefly explain as best I can.
Because they've done fuel and tyre stops.
The live timing data that's coming in constantly from the cars out there. It takes into account how long it takes to actually make the stop here, including a fuel stop, and it looks backwards at historic data as well in the way that the software is written. Tyre degradation is taken into account, and it projects an outcome. What it can't tell you is if somebody gets across through it done in a pit stop, or whether someone fails another in terms of the traffic. But it takes a snapshot of the data that's being recorded, is being recorded.
Locking up, going on.
So for those drivers that have yet to do
Lowndes getting closer.
it takes into account an average of what's likely to occur. Assuming that they are close to that average, we'll get
Well,
close to that.
Lowndes is just there. How come he counts as being fifth?
Position it down the order in actual lap scoring terms, but we believe them to be fighting for the lead of the motor race. So the yellow chip on the left is our pit smart position.
Weird way of doing things.
Actually, where they are in terms of race on the road, you can see
It's cool they were doing that though. Don't think they'd do anything like that these days. They just give you confusing point systems. Wakefield. Driving for Paul Morris, pretty sure. Wayne Wakefield. He was a regular in the development series at the time. Oh, is that Rick Kelly on, was that Murph at McConville? Scaife with, was it Canto or Radisich? Yeah. Oh, big damage on Brad Jones. Oh boy. Oh wow. Todd Kelly. Damn.
held up in pit lane.
Couple of them.
Down there. There must be a reason why people
Oh, I have to go.
look at the debris on the exit of the corner down there. Massive amount of junk on the road.
Well, I wonder if Brad Jones has left something behind on his way through. It makes you wonder because Todd Kelly just came in and just went straight ahead. There's the
What the hell?
of the Austin front splitter. Brad Jones left it behind on the infield. So that's at the sweep.
Oh, so there might be some power steering fluid or something.
Looking all right too strategically. He took his time, stopped early, had some clean air, and as we saw on the smart corrected order before, he was actually looking all right. Just as we mentioned it, for some reason or another, he's gone off on the infield on the exit of turn 5, on the outside of turn 5. Most people have done their job now, with the exception of Jason Richards and Mark Noski, Jamie Wincup. For those guys, in fact, Noski's now done his stop. In fact, he's doing it. So, Mark Scoper's come out badly from all this stuff. He's down in 11th off the right at the moment. That'll actually improve when Jason Richards, Noski and Wincup shake out their stops. But HRT have not come out of that sequence of stops in a strong position at all.
Been lots of behind the scenes activity in the Holden Racing team.
Oh, oh, that's not a good look.
360s and back onto the track. Didn't look as though it was too nasty in terms of damage to anyone. That's at turn 7 again. So 2 times the last couple of laps, Max Wilson.
He's just gone. Bonk. Oh no. Yeah, he sort of run a bit deep or something, or yeah, he wasn't quite up the inside enough. Might get a penalty.
The race team owners and the drivers real heartache because obviously depending on which colour you wear, you have a strong view, but they're very difficult to pull. And Marcus may well have seen Craig pull that move off successfully a couple of
Damn.
times. And Dick Johnson will be jumping up and down. Max Wilson will be jumping up and down. You need to look at that not only from that one angle either. This is the other test for the stewards. And actually, incidentally, called before that Stephen Priest was the clerk. Of course, he's not this weekend. It's Bruce Robertson. But this is the stuff that the officials have got to contend with. They've got to really take into account varying views. Avesco are actually considering and working on at the moment onboard cameras for the cars in each car, so that the process
Judicial camera.
accurately adjudicated.
They don't have them at Winton apparently.
Where it happened.
Only in the popular people's cars, basically.
Sometimes if the guy leaves a little hole, and that's what Max did. It's an invitation to Marcus, and he got in there, and then it got messy.
Just want to clarify exactly what's happening with MotoGP on 10. That is tonight. Darryl Beattie will be heading back to join Woodsy and Rusty in commentary.
There was one where I think it was at Adelaide. Matt White was like, "Oh, Rick Kelly was saying that, oh, do you want to come film a remote control boat race for Sports Tonight?" You got nothing, if you got nothing to put on it. Indy 500. So there's only like one race, and I think like it's not enough races. But this is what they used to do in 2003. They had the grand final thing, but they didn't have the number of races, right? Oh. Oh. Bloody hell, so much faster. Look how much better. Like, makes you wonder if they were in that same car, who would have been better at that time, Lowndes or Ambrose? Because Ambrose was good, but Lowndes wasn't in a good enough team. I think Lowndes could have been really good as well if they were teammates. Ambrose probably would have been hungrier.
Marcus has got the fastest car in the race, and that's to his advantage at the moment. His last lap was 1:24.
He's just cruising.
When he was first hounding down Craig Lowndes, he actually recorded a 24th lap. It's a to be the fastest man in the race so far, the fastest race lap. Still doesn't actually get close to the lap record set by the man in front last year, Jason Bryant. Here's the battle for minors. On the last couple of laps, Lowndes has just begun to flap a little.
Oh, this is how it happens. Here we go. Murph's right behind Lowndes.
On his car in that last lap, he actually dropped a pile of tyres, so he's having a moment somewhere, I reckon, as a result of getting crossed up. So remember also that Craig has spent more time on those tyres. Oh, here's Russell getting crossed up, trying to make ground. He was a long way down the left-hand side.
Oh, and he's knocked the front spoiler off of Canto as well.
In turn one. So whilst the strategy worked for Craig Lowndes in terms of the on-track positioning, it hasn't worked because of the stress on the rear tyres. He came in, as you pointed out, Matthew, on lap 29, so the rear tyres have really had to work. 38 laps to go in this motor race, so it's a big mission, and his tyres are now showing signs of hanging back.
Jason Bryant also came in and did his tyre stop at the same time as Craig Lowndes. So effectively, Bryant's tyres are 13 laps older than Ambrose's tyres behind him.
Yeah, and for example, the man that's currently harassing Craig Lowndes, Greg Murphy, he came in on lap 43 for tyres.
Murph's getting closer and closer. Oh, there he goes. That was it.
Now, Craig, this is a weird one, and everybody involved in this is going to be hating Craig because he can't step sideways without any problem. Yeah.
That was Murphy.
Yes.
I didn't push him off.
Yes. That's right. The radio conversation's telling the whole story.
Saying, yeah.
Greg's in a panic because he's worried. So I was about to allude to, he's worried that he'll be blamed for having nailed it. Here's the replay. And what happened was that Craig got sideways.
Yeah.
And then Murph did make contact, but it was only after Craig got crossed up. Then the contact happened. Here's another angle. So this one.
Yeah, it wasn't the limiter.
The camera tells the story the best. The shots from outside the car.
He gets on the limiter when they announce the penalty for Murph. Gives like a drive-through for it or something. Again, what's his name? Colin Bond.
Fastest man on the track. So that actually makes a bit of a mockery of the theory about the rear tyres dying, so I'm not sure how he pulled a 23.8 out, because that's a massive jump in speed for Lowndes.
Never went that hard again. No, because he was naming names. He was naming and shaming. Must have given him a whack for it. Yeah, I think he did. He got in a bit of trouble over it. It made it into his book. It made it into Murph's book. If Lowndes had, maybe it made it into Lowndes' book. I don't know. He probably didn't care. There we go. John Russell ended up at 888 at one point. Oh yeah, the penalties were just wacko. Bro's about to get Brody in a second. Yeah, it'll be like, drive-through penalty or stop-go penalty or something. I just left the splitter there. Was it on the road? Oh. No. It should show front angle of Lowndes. The best angle was Murph's angle. Infield turn 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2. All right. Yeah, well, it's fine. It's not in the way. If you go off the track and hit it, you're already off the track anyway. Marshall's point right there. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Fair point. It's probably just safety or something because there's cars all the way all over the track. The way everyone's falling off the road this race. Oh yeah.
Control line, we can check out the last times. 125.4 for Jason Bright, 4.0, 125.48 for Marcus Ambrose, and 125 flat for Greg Murphy in third position. Garth Tander is in fourth. Craig Lowndes stays there in fifth. Mark Scaife in sixth. Let's go back inside the cabin of Greg Murphy's car and see if we can dissect this a bit more.
Craig's going on into five. Yeah, the drive a bit in the corner after he's touched the ripple strip. There she goes, and Craig's grabbed the brake to correct it, and then Murphy's parted, and that's the one that tells
125.48 for Marcus Ambrose, and 125 flat for Greg Murphy in third position. Garth Tander is in fourth. Craig Lowndes stays there in fifth. Mark Scaife in sixth. Let's go back inside the cabin of Greg Murphy's car and see if we can dissect this a bit more.
Craig's going on into five here, and then right in the middle of the corner after he's touched the
Yeah, lost the rears big time.
to correct it, and then Murphy's parted, and that's the one that tells the majority of the story. So it started when Craig had the foot on the brake, the car noses forward, the longitudinal lateral G, the car rolls over his nose, then he grabbed the brake to try and capture it, then he gets into the marbles and Murphy's in the smack. That's pretty much the story there. So it's pretty frustrating. I'm actually a bit bewildered because Craig was really struggling in the high 24s, even low 25s. The computer's saying all of a sudden in the middle that he punched out a 23.8, which I'm a little bit puzzled by. And his rear tyres, a little contact there. A little contact there. Now, Murphy's been given a drive-through.
Yeah.
That's,
What a joke. Here we go.
Hard to fathom. Greg? Well, Neil,
So
I'm as surprised as you.
they're just confused.
This makes no sense. What I can tell you is that in that conversation, that conference between John Russell from FBR and, of course, the Avesco chief and Rob Crawford, John Russell said he did not see the incident. He cannot say whether his driver had to get out of it, so they weren't clear. There was no pictures available to them at that point in time. And change for the lead here, Greg. Sorry to interrupt, but meanwhile, we're talking to Greg Rust. Greg Murphy has gone ballistic, and Russell, should I say Marcus Ambrose? I lost the plot here.
Yeah,
Has gone leading us safety, please.
Marcus Ambrose leads. Jason Bright is second. Greg Murphy has come to drive-through penalty, and the life of the Kmart Racing team car number 51 driver is about to be tipped upside down when he comes into pit lane. He'll be absolutely on the limit. Marcus Ambrose, though, is back in the race lead. He's talking to his team, who are telling him, don't worry about those back markers. They'll get the blue flag if they don't get out of the way. Tim Schenk and the officials have been very serious about this after certain back markers pretty much got in the way, at least in Craig. Flashing a light. Ambrose indicates to Stephen Johnson, I've got to come through. I'm leading the race. Johnson steps aside. Bright shuffles back to second. Drama continuing to unfold in the pits as Greg Murphy shoots off.
Just drive-through.
Penalty. Can you believe it?
I don't know what else he could have done in those circumstances, and this has got, this is not a part
It's
of
probably up in fourth or something at the time.
Fans start sending emails frantically. What happened here is that Craig, with a car that had rear tyres, and you can see that Murph's just not happy. Craig has gone into turn 5. The rear tyres were a bit sad at that point. He's got on the brake over the ripple strip. The car's gone sideways. He grabbed the brake. You can see the brake lights come on, and then Murphy's hit him. And then off they got. Now, the only thing that I can imagine is that the stewards feel that maybe the second part of the incident was avoidable, but having been around that part of the track 18 trillion times, that I just don't think that there's anything Murphy could have done about that. I really don't.
I think Colin Bond's been around that track plenty of times too.
To look at the onboard shot that we had, they get the same pictures as you're getting, and we can show it to you right again. So this is what Neil's talking about.
Just came on. I mean, the brake lights.
And the rear was sliding.
Craig can't do much. He's doing his best to control his car. It's gone wide. I reckon that's a fairly questionable decision. And I think Murph's got every reason to be running pretty high oil pressure here.
Well, I think it's boiling inside that Kmart cabin at the moment. Todd Kelly here at car number 2.
So when does he blow up?
13. The reason why he's had a spin at turn 7. position now.
Oh, Richo.
Lowndes at turn 7 once again. Lowndes, incidentally, his times are dropping. This was door-to-door action that continued around 8.
Remember we talked before about him having recorded the fastest lap of the race. That was simultaneous with the moment for Greg Murphy. It was because he rejoined on another part of the track. It gave him a quick lap time. In fact, he's been off the road, so that's a false fastest lap.
Yeah, right now he's hovering around the 127s and slipping considerably. Now, let's try and clean up this mess involving Greg Murphy and Craig Lowndes. We'll go straight to the source. Darryl Beattie has got Robbie Crawford from Kmart, Darryl.
Robbie Crawford from Kmart. Robbie, we all saw the footage of that with Murph, but it seems like they've got it in for him.
Yeah, it's a bit strange. Lowndes has a 3-foot slide through the sweeper and jams the brakes on, and Murph's got nowhere to go. Just looking at some footage there before, and with Richo following him, and he didn't even touch the brakes all the way through it. So, seems fairly interesting.
What can you do with it now? Just deal with it after the race, but unfortunately, it's put Murphy.
He just lost the rear, that's what happened.
Well.
With a drive-through penalty, you've just got to cop it, and there's no recourse at all. So, that's it.
Oh.
Thanks, mate.
Well, I'm up in race control with Colin Bond now, driving standards advisor to the championship. How did you guys view that incident between Lowndes and Murphy?
Well, it was fairly obvious, actually, that Lowndes was coming through the sweep, and Murphy was closing in on him and hitting him up the back and just pushed him off the road. We've got vision of it now, and there's nothing to do about it. If someone punts somebody off from behind and they make them in front of the person goes on and loses time, then the other guy's going to do
Murphy was quite adamant that Craig had a moment mid-corner, had to brake. That's when Greg collected him. Murphy's defence justifiable.
Look, in these situations, if you run the back of somebody and cut them off, it's sort of, it's really hard one to pick up on, but you just can't physically do that, you know. So the fault's on the person behind, and you've got to make manoeuvres and do it properly. We looked at it; it was a fairly good hit when he hit him and just pumped him off. So you know, I think that was the right choice. Thanks, Colin.
What?
110% wrong, Colin Bond. We will buy you a television, maybe a colour one, so you can see red brake lights come on the preceding car. And I'm telling you, that is 10% wrong. Here it is in reality, folks. Craig gets off the brakes and the other car runs into him. That is one of the worst, if not the worst, stewards' decisions I have ever seen. Garth Wigston, Peter Svensson, Keith McKay and Colin Bond, hang your heads in shame.
That's Neil Compton say on the issue. I'm sure Greg Murphy had had his say if he had his microphone plugged in, but when that incident unfolded and afterwards he got sent through pit lane, Murph ripped the lead out into his microphone back to the team, so he's been out there racing in silence and probably 110 degrees inside the cockpit. PlayStation 2 race score, regardless of all that stuff, says that Marcus Ambrose is looking good to collect back-to-back round victories in the championship. He's got a 4.3 second lead, make that 3.9 second lead now over Jason Bryan in second. Garth Tander is holding on the third. Mark Skate is up in fourth position. Stephen Richards is in fifth. There's just a couple of people on that list that you can see there. Paul Radisich has moved up 16 positions. A good performance as well from Jason Barguana, who's moved up 15 positions throughout this race. And also someone else who bypassed us on the way was Paul Wheel, who's now moved up 10 positions from his start. But gee, it's been impressive from this man, no question. He had an awesome race at Eastern Creek. They've come here to Winton and just continued it from the word go. It looks so good. Practice, qualifying, held it together in the shootout to get his second pole of the year. The 10th pole of his 30-race career. Can you believe it? 30 starts for Marcus Ambrose already. 10 pole positions, one in every 3 starts. Starting in front of the grid. A young career in V8 supercar racing, but one who continues like this is probably destined for greatness. There's Paul Radisich, Team Better Electrical Car, who's done a good job up in the 9th position at the moment.
Well, CL's just battling there at the moment, as you said, Matt. He's just drifting. The rear tyres are really just not delivering the balance and outcome that he needs out of the cat car at the moment. Ambrose, Bright, Tan, Escape, Richards, Wheel, England, Lowndes, Radisich, Bowers, top 10, then Wilson, Barguana, Kelly, Sidney, Murphy, Baird, Kelly, Rick, and Craig
far into it. It's almost done.
Had to do a lot of work here to recover from that stop of his where I think it was the front right wheel was tardy. They had a problem with the cross-threaded wheel nut. And that really held him up, and he's now having to recover from what was an otherwise competitive showing early on.
I wonder what Lowndes had to say about it.
Headed for his best ever finish here at Winters.
You know, 20 laps. Did he change camps? I was under the impression that it was an amalgamation of Team Brock and PWR.
23-year-old Queenslander Paul Wheel on his first podium finish at Adelaide. After everything was sorted out post-race.
Love the SBR logo. I like a BA in that one. I reckon when they had the FG, it looked like that as well. It looked. They had like an FG version of the logo. It's very, very cool logo. 21 to go.
That's your Saturday night footy as well on Network 10. It is remarkable, isn't it? Just how much of a difference it makes when you come here in the last couple of years, have two 100k races, now 300k race. This is the third 300k race of the year. Chasers here we go to Perth, Barbagallo Raceway for the next round. Go back to a bit of a sprint format. So
Just to go back to this other thing that I'm still sitting here fuming about at the moment, Matthew, is that
what is that surprise?
just these blokes wind me up sometimes. The reality is that Craig was not doing anything wrong either. That's the point we need to make. He's got onto the ripple strip and the car's got crossed up. His natural reaction is to go for the brake pedal to try and keep the car straight and corrected and on the black stuff. That's his mission. He's doing exactly what he should do. Greg's doing exactly what he should do, which is to try and avoid. But you're so committed in there. The car's already passed its grip threshold on the front right-hand corner. You're basically guiding the car as delicately as you can at its absolute grip limit. What he's going to do, actually just stop it? I mean, I cannot believe that decision. I really can't make such forthright remarks. But
it's shocking.
Because the umpire has a tough call, but by gee, that is an average one. That's absolutely average.
You know, the beauty of television is once it's out there probably, so you can't take it back.
Oh, I'm not taking it back. I don't care who I have to brawl. I'm not taking it back. I'll get out there with Merv and swing fists if I have to. I mean, they're just, these guys sometimes are absolutely out of shape.
Russell Ingall.
Oh, you love it. It's like when Wingcup was blowing up about him. You know, they're having a glass of red. You know, the head's not in it.
Gary Rogers Motorsport Commodore. There you go, Wheel and Ingall, that battle that we're looking at right now. Field starting to stretch out in the closing stages.
Ingall getting past Wheel anytime soon.
Wanted to take advantage before he came into the
Oh,
almost an instant replay.
bit of bump.
Dare I mention it, the Paul Wheel holds onto it, and Russell Ingall can't get past that time.
Bloody hell.
Starting to look pretty vulnerable. The back of his car spanning around a lot. Russell's applying pressure, and it's just been a good solid run from him in car.
Russell's got some damage on the driver's side door.
Wheelie was really battling through turn 5, but you got a great shot of how much of a battle he was having in the mid to late part of the corner. Russell just has to be patient here and try and make the gap when he can without making contact. Right up under the back of the thing into turn 11. And there's probably no real opportunity here in the next couple of corners unless he gets an unbelievably good exit. It looks like his strength is in the middle part of the track at the moment. So the order is Ambrose, Bryce, Tander, Scale, Richards, Wheel, Ingall, Radicic, Lowndes, still battling, planning, obvious
Yeah, there's that spoiler. It's actually not in a safe place to collect. It's much closer to turn 1. And if someone goes off, that's where they're going off as well. Like, depending on the speed, if they're just spearing off straight away, or if they're under brakes and maybe they just have a lock up or something, they'll go off in the middle of that corner where that spoiler is. It's not a position you want to be in. Safe time to do it would be under safety car once everyone's come up behind the safety car.
Work around this track is the correct knowledge that they gave the testing as applied. And this will have been Ambrose, Ingle, and Steve Richards on lap 84.
Oh,
Escape made a blue there down at 10.
jeez.
It's actually a great little battle unfolding between all these guys. And when Mark makes it blue like that, it lets Stephen get in the game. This is not resolved, and everybody's at the walking wounded stage of this motor race.
Tander, the big white Commodore, the Aurora engine underneath.
What do you call it? A little
The hybrid V1. And Stephen Richards in the VX. Yet to adopt the new car, the 41st race Commodore built by Larry Perkins. Over the years, it will probably be on show the next round.
Something going on the left front plate docket there at the moment. Incidentally, Russell's tyres are much younger than the tyres on Paul Wheel's car. Russell came into
some sort of damage.
43,
Red shield appeal.
on 28. So those that took the early option for rubber are really having to scramble right now.
The battle group that we're focusing on.
Yeah, that'll be the mechanical failure on Wink Up.
Effectively a shot at the podium. As dramas and dramas continue there for young Jamie Whincup, who remember started inside the top 10, but is now sliding all the way down courtesy of this unscheduled stop. Jamie Whincup's day started terrifically. Held his composure well in the
Scapey's got some speed on Richo, it looks like. Just lost a bit of time there against Tander.
Jamie Whincup. Tander versus Scape versus Richards. Can Scape climb up and get third position on the podium?
Maybe.
Tander, well, the numbers over the course of his career say he's more than likely to do it because he's got a 50% strike rate on podium placings.
Incidentally, just a snapshot.
Yeah, well, maybe the glory days are over and
6/10 of a second quicker than Bright, 26.5. Tander at 26.1. Scape at 25.7. So he's actually got real pace. Richards at 25.9.
Richo's. It's probably that Scapey's on the back of Tander, but can't quite close the gap enough. And that's why. But it's not. I mean, that's 9/10 in that previous lap. Yep. Game over for Whincup. I had little model cars of the Valvoline car, Repco Valvoline, pretty sure.
Greg, what have you got for us? Well, now we thought at this point of the race we might get the audience's attention at home by just sparing a thought for the pounding these things have taken during the race. There's a look at two different types of brake discs on the V8 supercar. In size, they're massive. In fact, an average road car disc brake would fit on the internal section here of the brake disc. You'll notice there's some cuts here in the metal material. That's designed to aid the disbursement of gases and brake pad material and things like that. Up the top here, a number of veins. In fact, there's around 48 veins on these ones, and they can get as high as 72, which aids the cooling on the disc. On average, these things cost around $700. You get one race meeting out of them, and of course, they're brand new ones each time we.
Bloody hell. $700 a weekend brake discs in 2003. Can't remember how much Scapey was saying it cost in like 2003 for, was it 2003 or I think it was 2003. How much it cost per race meeting? Oh, damn. Got him. Oh. Oh.
Richards ends up holding off the charge from Repco Valvoline, Cummins Commodore, and also just behind these guys, Russell Engel has finally got past Paul Wheel. The fight for fifth and sixth. It wasn't pretty, but he made it. He, of course, gets past fifth position. So, the order is this. Marcus Ambrose leads Jason Bray is second, 10 seconds behind. Stephen Richards is in third. As you can see, there is 3 laps to go. Then Gartan and Hindle make up your top 5. There on your PlayStation 2 race score, Paul Wheel, who started in 16th position, is heading for 6th.
The couple of those moves were great moves, weren't they? Really good motor racing. Richo on Tander and then Garth coming back. That was good stuff. There was no contact between them. There was racing room between both guys. And then terrific stuff up the top of the track between both Ingle and Wheel. Scapey thought he may have had a big enough gap to get the job done, then realised that he wasn't able to get it done. Locked the rear brakes and kind of penalised himself in the process. He's rejoining 7th place at the moment. The fastest man of the leading contenders at the moment is actually Stephen Richards. He's got a few tenths on his nearest rivals. There's actually quite a few people very further down the field.
He's probably not going to get Ambrose. Roddy sitting there in second, I imagine.
A couple of surprises here back here that would have expected more safety car action perhaps in this race. And probably a few people who could be potentially a little marginal on fuel right towards the end. Here's Richards with 2 to go.
Well, the safety cars would have helped with fuel depending on when you did it.
Not to mention that of Jason Bryant as well, who's going to get 186 points. That'll put him well and truly at the top of the list where he already is.
It's must be the same point system as 2005. Because I think it was 192 for a race win, 186 for P2. Yeah, 178 maybe for P3. Oh.
So far, that's some good news at the end of a tough day for Aussie Mile Racing. That number on your screen, if you want to be part of V8 Superstars.
For a good time, cool. Oh no! Brutal. Ran out of fuel. God damn, he was third. I don't know if he's going to make it. I would have taken the extra second of fuel. Brutal.
If Marcus finishes off this, which he surely will, for the first time in 8 years, the same Ford driver has won back-to-back rounds in the championship. Glenn Seaton did it last.
First time in 8 years. Wow, that's a long time. And the last time someone went back-to-back was 1995. Bloody hell. Brutal. I think so. Good old AJ.
Back-to-back wins, back-to-back wire-to-wire wins. Started from pole at Eastern Creek and took it all the way. Started from pole here at Winton and will take it all the way as well. But the drama behind him is still unfolding. Our word is that Russell Ingle is also suffering fuel problems.
Oh.
He may not make it to the finish line. He's currently in 4th position. closer. He's still moving, which is always a good sign, but he's fourth at the moment and rapidly running out of juice. No dramas whatsoever for Marcus Ambrose, and you've got to take your hat off to this guy because he's just done it so well. There he was in the shootout and took pole. It is a blue oval
Champion effort.
and as Marcus Ambrose goes back to back in the championship.
What a way to celebrate. Put a couple of black lines down. Was that Engel sign up? No, he's fine. Oh, well. Hmm.
The tough day and the slipperiness of the rear of his car. Lowndes, good job also for 8. That has to be
Scar Tanda.
saddest story in the paddock at the moment. Gun Panda having worked his backside off all day, only to run out of fuel at the critical moment.
Damn.
Marcus Ambrose wins. Jason Wright gets second and Stephen Richards gets third.
All right. So that's the stream, I think. I'm gonna wrap it up, and thanks for joining. And I'll see you next week, same time next week. If you're still there, you're still there, surely. We had a long one today. Or maybe you're not. Maybe you're not close enough. Yep, you're there. All right. See you next time, dude. Have a good day yourself. Bye bye.